Something else that's true of a narcissistic society is that people will never be seen as the individuals that they are. Everyone will be put into boxes and assigned roles where they are not allowed to grow in any way. Just because narcissists don't really see changes in other people.
That's a problem.
They put you into a role in their minds and take a snapshot of how they perceive you the very first time they meet you. And this snapshot will never change. It doesn't matter if you're an alcoholic who later gives up alcohol, for example. They'll still hide all the booze every time you come to their house, even years later. Stuff like that. They do not have the capacity for change, not in the same way normal people do anyway, and they assume that nobody else can change either. Back to the show. Translucent is missing.
And where is Translucent?
We know he's not in the building. He hasn't triggered any of the motion sensors. He's probably out on another one of his fucking benders.
But Vought isn't talking about it. Not even to their fellow members of the Seven.
I'm sorry. I asked for Translucent.
Right, but Translucent is on a secret undercover mission right now.
Another thing narcissists love is naive people like Annie, because they know they can basically just keep lying to them and they'll just believe it.
That is why we love you. But it's not coming from us. It's corporate. To protect you. What if you nab the wrong person? There's liability to consider.
Narcissists will never admit that anything is wrong with themselves. They also get off on keeping secrets from other people.
That there were scorch marks on the mayor's engine. Almost as if from two small, high-intensity beams, roughly the width of human eyes.
Say what you mean to say.
Here, in the scene where Madeline confronts Homelander about his recent murder of the mayor of Baltimore, you'll notice that Madeline is talking to Homelander in a very calm way, as if she's not really upset about it.
No. You just need to let me protect you.
This because you can never let a narcissist know that you're upset with them. Not unless you want to experience the full brunt of their narcissistic rage, that is. Especially ones with too much power like Homelander. Because they'll only turn that around so it's your fault and blame you and use that as an excuse to punish you in some way. You'll also notice that Homelander essentially turns into an adult version of a 2-year-old after this as well. Even though Madeline isn't all that upset. This because narcissists are stuck in something called arrested development and never matured past the age of 2. But people with NPD tend to devolve into this state whenever they realize they did something wrong in any way. But, of course, they can't accept they did anything wrong and will eventually find a way to put the blame on others in any case. But Madeline remains in control, or as in control as you can be, with a spoiled brat version of Superman. But she does so by inflating his shallow ego right after this.
Gods are pure, and they're perfect, and they're above it all.
Another part in this scene is Homelander saying this.
I'm the one who knows the audience, who knows what's good for this company.
This is a lie, of course, but it's a lie he's telling himself and due to his magical thinking, or the belief that all narcissists have, that everything they think, no matter how wrong or how crazy, is always right. But also because narcissists have to put themselves on pedestals and pretend that they are the best at absolutely any category or skill or whatever it is, you can bet they think they're the most qualified person to do it. A short thing during this conversation with Huey and his dad.
You're a sensitive boy. Come home.
He says he's a sensitive boy. This is something that is very common for narcissists to say to their main supply. You're too sensitive, or the like. This usually followed and preceded by abuse and puts the blame entirely on the victim. In the narcissist's mind, it's not their abuse that's making you upset, it's your oversensitivity, and therefore the narcissist doesn't have anything to do with it. If you'd only just accept their abusive behavior as normal, you wouldn't react as if you were being abused. This tactic, like most of their tactics, is to make you doubt yourself and confuse you. The more self-doubt you have, and the more confused you are, make you that much easier to control to the narcissist, which is all they really want anyway. Anyway, this blame shifting and victim blaming can cause some pretty severe reactions in the victim, especially if it's done to them incrementally over long periods of time. Much like with a narcissistic parent doing this to their scapegoated child for their entire life. The child turned adult will doubt themselves their whole life, and every time you trigger them with these self-defeating thoughts, they're very likely to have severe emotional reactions like Huey does here. The only thing I really want to mention about this scene with Homelander and the Deep is that when narcissists need people to back up their lies for them, they will immediately get their flying monkeys on their side somehow. Typically, it will be with their charm and not with their fear, but if they have enough power, they will do anything they feel they have to do to get everyone they can on their side, and the opposite side of the narcissist victim.
All right, look, I thought I was, I don't know what I saw down there, as a matter of fact. It was really dark in this.
A few things about this scene with Starlight and the Deep. For one, Starlight is giving Deep the cold shoulder, something he is totally oblivious to, even though he used his power to violate her in an earlier scene. In his own mind, he doesn't think he's done anything wrong. Narcissists cannot accept the blame for anything. They also believe themselves to be so special, they are above rules. All rules. Even things that most non-narcissistically entitled people would consider common courtesies to everyday life. Also, don't expect them to realize things like, oh, this person I'm with is obviously upset about something, maybe I should be quiet while they deal with it.
What's your problem? With that pissy look on your face all night.
Not only do narcissists not care about anyone else at all, but outside of what role that person serves for them, narcissists don't really think other people exist. But narcissists also see any silence as an excuse to fill it with their never-ending word salad. They're actually kind of scared of silence because then they have to start thinking their own thoughts, and God and the narcissist only know what kind of awful things are in their brains. The Deep does eventually figure out Starlight is mad at him, but ultimately learns nothing, and the cycle of abuse continues. Okay, let's talk about Translucent, who is basically the focus of this episode. He gives a really long speech to essentially say this at one point.
You're not the hero of the story. And I'm not the one who's trapped.
But his whole personality, from what we're shown, is that he thinks he's above everyone else. Even though he's trapped in a cage, he seems to think he's moments away from getting out of it. In fact, the only time he really starts acting like the weak man he actually is when his life is in danger. Then his true colors come out.
Please don't kill me. I'll do anything.
But when he's talking to Huey, the person he sees as weak just by his very nature of being more caring than the other two men, because all narcissists see caring for other people as a weakness. He underestimates him. I mean, that's easy, as narcissists underestimate everyone, especially people who can feel a full spectrum of emotions, including empathy. Since narcissists can't do this, they see those who can as freaks of nature. But again, anything unlike the narcissist must be something weak and unworthy. There are only perfect and worthless in a narcissist's mind, and the narcissist is perfect, and everything else eventually becomes worthless, because they're not exactly like the narcissist. As Stillwell and Doppelganger blackmail a senator in the background, let's talk about what narcissists want. I mean, other than loads and loads of supply. But once they have all the supply they need, they then go out into the world in order to prove themselves that they're truly as perfect and special as they've always thought they were. But without really being able to do it, they cover it up in the most superficial way possible. Remember that the superficial is really all narcissists understand. They do it by amassing as much power as possible and using it to control all the people under them. This because narcissists have no idea how to control their own emotions, and also don't even know how to properly feel their own emotions. And because of this, their emotions are secretly controlling the narcissist in every possible way they can. The person with NPD unconsciously knows they can't control themselves because of how their emotions rule them in this way. But the narcissist is projecting all their insecurities, including this one, onto everyone else, and their magical thinking makes them believe that if they aren't controlling every aspect of this person's life, or at least as much of this person's life that they can control, that that person will go totally out of control. Just as out of control as the narcissist's emotions are. They legitimately believe that anything a person does outside of the narcissist say-so is proof that that person is out of control, by the way. This leads into us talking about surveillance. If the narcissist can get away with it, they will spy on you. Gifts from them might have tracking or recording devices. They are unbelievably paranoid that everyone is out to get them. They legitimately believe that everyone is jealous of them and wants what they have. This is caused by projection again, because narcissists themselves are incredibly jealous and feel they're entitled to everything that they want no matter what it is, and they have to project those insecure feelings onto everyone in the world. They actually can't see anyone as thinking differently from themselves. It's impossible for them to even consider it. This is why it's so hard for their children to individuate from them, and ultimately not seeing other people's individuality is abusive.